There are some things that just matter more to me now than they used to, and most of them are not exactly glamorous. At this point in life, I'm not chasing excitement nearly as much as I'm chasing things like a comfortable chair, a peaceful morning, a good supportive bra, and a frying pan that actually heats evenly. That's where I'm at. And truthfully, I'm not mad about it. Because I think one of the best parts of getting older is that you slowly stop caring about what's supposed to matter or what has seemed important for most of our lives, and you start getting really clear about what actually makes your life better. So today I thought it would be fun to talk about some of the things that matter more to me now than they used to. And I have a feeling I'm not the only one. One of the biggest changes for me is that I care a lot more now about quality over quantity. Now listen, I still love a great bargain and I am not above a dollar store wander. In fact, I consider it a recreational activity. But when it comes to the things I use every single day, I don't want three cheap versions that kind of work. I want one good one that does what it's supposed to do without me having to think bad thoughts about it. If it squeaks, wobbles, leaks, or requires a tutorial, I'm already frustrated. Whether it's a kettle, a frying pan, a lamp, a vacuum, I've learned that cheap is not always a bargain. Sometimes cheap just means you'll be buying it again in 6 months, but this time with resentment. Now I care much more about value, not fancy for the sake of fancy, just reliable. At this age, I just want my belongings to behave. The same thing goes for friendships. When I was younger, I think I cared more about having a bigger social circle, staying connected to everybody, keeping up, showing up, juggling all the things. And now I care much more about a few real, easy, meaningful relationships. The kind where you can text, "Want to go for coffee?" And then you can just show up exactly as you are. No performance, no weirdness, no emotional games. Just people who feel like relaxing and enjoying each other's company. And I think that changes with age too. You stop looking for more people and you start deeply appreciating the right people. That matters so much more now to me than it used to. Another thing that matters more to me now, health over beauty, every single time. And I'll be honest, I think I finally get this in a way that I didn't before. Because yes, of course, we all want to look our very best. That doesn't suddenly disappear. But at some point you realize no cream on earth is going to erase the fact that you have lived. That's a lot of pressure to put on a moisturizer, no matter how much it costs. At this point, I don't need anti-aging, I need anti-inflammation. So now I'm much less interested in chasing some magical anti-aging fantasy and much more interested in how I feel, how I sleep, whether my joints are cooperating, whether my energy is decent, whether my brain still remembers why I walked into the kitchen. The wrinkles can stay. I'd just like my knees to remain somewhat agreeable. Quiet, peace, and a drama-free life. Because I used to think a full life had to feel, well, full. Busy and scheduled, noisy, productive, chaotic a lot of the time. And now nothing feels more luxurious to me than a calm day at home. A quiet morning, tidy-ish room, a familiar routine. No one asking me to do anything urgent. That's not boring to me anymore. That's premium living. And I think that's one of the biggest mindset shifts that we get as we get older. You stop needing constant stimulation to feel like life is meaningful. Sometimes a peaceful day is the good part, and I protect that peace a lot more now than I ever used to. Because once you've had enough chaos in your life, you start to see peace as the actual treasure. Physical comfort is not giving up. At one time in life, I would absolutely sacrifice comfort for appearance, convenience, or price. Not anymore. Absolutely not. If a bra, a shoe, a pair of pants, or an armchair is making my life harder, it's gone immediately. No appeals, no second chances. And I don't see that as letting myself go, more like letting myself live. Because if your body is uncomfortable all day long, it affects everything: your mood and your energy, your patience, and your willingness to be a pleasant citizen. Time feels different now. Time matters more to me now than it ever used to. And not in a gloomy way, just in a clearer way. When you're younger, time can feel endless. You assume there will always be another weekend, another year, another chance, another someday. And then one day you realize, oh, this really is my life. This is not the rehearsal. And because of that, I think I'm much more selective now, more protective of my energy and how I spend my days, less willing to do things out of guilt and obligation or habit. I don't want to waste whole chunks of my life on things that make me tired or tense or resentful or quietly miserable. Time feels way more valuable now. Not scary, just precious. Dinner out is nice, but coffee is elite. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy dining out. A slow, delicious meal, some nice wine, of course I do. But these days, if given the choice between a full evening dinner reservation, a loud restaurant, parking situation, late night, and trying to hear over everyone, or a lovely coffee and a sweet treat in the middle of the day, oh, I have chosen, and I have chosen the coffee every time. Because for me now, it's less about the event and more about the actual connection. You can sit with a friend over coffee and chat and laugh and catch up, solve the world's problems, and be home by 3:30 in your elastic waistband comfies. That's a beautiful thing. I'm not saying I never go out for dinner. If social plans start after 7, I need a very compelling reason to take part. Using the good stuff now, not saving it or tucking it away, waiting for someday. Because I think a lot of us were raised to save the nice things, the good dishes, the nice candles, the pretty blanket, the expensive perfume. For what occasion exactly? At some point I realized today is the occasion. This ordinary Tuesday, this quiet coffee at home. That counts, because that is life. And I think that matters more to me now than it used to. Not just owning nice things, but actually enjoying them. What's the point of having beautiful things if they spend their entire life in a closet waiting for a more important day? This is the important day. And maybe the biggest one of all, the older I get, the more I realize that the best things in life are usually free. And I know that sounds like something you'd see on a decorative sign in a gift shop, but it's true. The things that really stay with you usually aren't the expensive things. It's a peaceful morning, sunlight coming through the window, a familiar routine, a memory, feeling completely yourself at home, safe and grateful, a long walk with a friend, human or furry. Those are the things that seem to matter more and more. Not because money or nice things don't matter at all, but because the things that make life feel rich are often much simpler. So yes, there are definitely things that matter more to me now than they used to. And maybe that's one of the nicest parts of getting older. Not that life gets perfect, not that everything gets easier, but that you get clearer on what you need and enjoy and what is worth your time, and much clearer on what is absolutely not. So tell me in the comments, What matters more to you now than it used to? I'd love to know. And I have a feeling your answers are going to be very relatable. Thanks so much for spending this time with me. I always appreciate you being here. Until next time, take care.